let's talk about Bill Gates for a moment. You know that I have analyzed Bill Gates a couple times in this channel, and every single time we reach the same conclusion. This guy has something. This guy is evil in some way or another. There are many people that still worship him, that still say, oh, that he's doing things for all the right reasons. He's doing all this research, but we know from his own mouth all that he's tried to push, especially in these technologies that is, in his own words, we have to keep playing around or fooling around with. I wouldn't say that things that you are going to inoculate into your body as something that would be nice to, fool around with or play around with. There should be strict, very strict clinical trials for anything that enters our body, be it vaccines or food or anything. That is important. That is important part. And in this case, we are seeing that after all that Gates has been pushing, he knows that he can push it because of his so-called credibility and all this, how many people in the world look up to him. But the problem is, there's a conflict of interest as well, that if you are for example, independent researcher or independent scientist, and you have this breakthrough technology, you need funding. And what happens if Bill Gates decides to, support your funding? But that funding, maybe you are an independent researcher and you're researching how to make cows fart less, which was one of the topics that I covered with my conversation with Leilani Dowding. It's something that is unnatural, what they're trying to do with cows, with all these chemicals, with all these, drugs. And it all boils down to the money that Bill Gates has and his reputation. Because if Bill Gates had no reputation, this would not be happening. And right now, he's scrambling to protect said reputation. Because you know that Bill Gates went to an island. You know which island, right? You know which island. You know which island we're talking about, the Jeffrey Epstein island and all that, and that's what caused the divorce with Melinda Gates. I have like 7 videos. I have a whole playlist of Bill Gates videos. You can just look on my channel, the Jesus Enrique Rosas channel. Bill Gates, you will find all my videos on him. It's a complete telenovela, like a Mexican telenovela, but this huge-ass villain. Not huge in the sense of physical, but it's maybe one of the most relevant villains right now. And right now he's lobbying the Senate night and day to prevent the Epstein Island list from being released. And then Dick Durbin comes out and says he's not going to release the names. And Bill Gates met with Senator Dick Durbin last week. We need to add some captions to this, so we hear the words of Kash Patel himself talking about all this process and understanding how Bill Gates is so scared. Because why? It's not like he's going to be broke. Bill Gates cannot be broke. It's just not possible. It's just he's one of the billionaires of the world. But it's not about the money. It's about the power. And the only way to have that power is to have influence. And influence, a big part of influence, is credibility. Depends, of course, on what you want to do. Because, of course, Kim Kardashian or Cardi B have a lot of influence in some way. Not for endorsing presidential candidates, that's for sure. Like Taylor Swift has a lot of influence, but it doesn't work in political. Maybe Beyonce should have sang that song, maybe 4 minutes, but it didn't work. But if that credibility is taken away from Bill Gates, then his power over all this industry, all this, let's say, basement scientist industry, which is great sometimes. I'm not saying that every single one of these scientists have ill intentions, but for them it would be much better to be aligned with what Bill Gates wants, because I'm going to invest in this and not in that. So I want to do research as a scientist, so maybe I should be aligned with the guy who has the money. Conflict of interest. But now we have this. Let's hear the words of Kash Patel on this issue.
That Bill Gates is lobbying Congress night and day to prevent the disclosure of that list. And why is it that the Senate, and good for Senator Blackburn to try to get it out, but then Dick Durbin comes over the top and says, no, we're not going to release the names. I don't care about the list itself, but if you release the names, right? What the hell are the House Republicans doing?
What the hell is the House Republicans doing? This is something that has to be released. This has for full transparency. And how to trust the government again. This is important because that is something that is happening in other countries. People do not trust their country. Something that is happening in the UK is that, okay, this might have been the Tories or this had been Labour, but at this point you don't trust any of those parties. And if you don't trust any of the main parties of your country, what is left for you to say, I'm not going to vote, all politicians are the same, nobody's going to come here and do the actual transparency. So that is the thing, that even if Kash Patel is the FBI director, I don't know which hurdles they will have to release this kind of information. I'm pretty sure that it boils down that, of course, the confirmation that Kash Patel is going to be the FBI director. And once he does that, he will release those names and all hell will break loose. And they will know how many times Bill Gates went to that island and who he hang out with. At this point, we also have reports. All this is alleged. All this is unofficial information that the FBI right now is negotiation with celebrities, the celebrities who appear on the Diddy tapes. What kind of negotiations? It's very easy. You appear on one of these tapes. You know that these tapes are going to be released after January 20. You want us to destroy these tapes? Well, then you have to, I don't know, maybe pay some money, or you have to sign this kind of document to sell your soul again to us, so you don't mess with us, we don't mess with you, some kind of reciprocal. We destroy the tapes, maybe you pay, so the tapes are destroyed. Who gets a say on that? But I'm absolutely sure that they are scrambling to destroy all that evidence. How is it going to be confirmed or not that it was destroyed? Who is going to take the fall if evidence is destroyed, which I'm pretty sure is a federal crime? But I'm 100% sure that people who want that swept under the rug would do anything, will pay billions to get that erased from everywhere. That's not a surprise. We know that is not a surprise. And at some point, I just wish that the transparency that we want for the United States will eventually, expand to other countries, and people will realize that we need to demand more of our governments, no matter which country you're in. This is important. We need to be to demand more transparency for our countries. J.E. Mays, another of our lovely mods. Jay-Z is in the vice grips in a tough situation right now. Yeah, it's Jay-Z knows. Jay-Z knows that. Yeah, there are tapes. Tapes. I don't want to think that they are Bill Gates tapes, because that would be really disgusting. That would be vomit-inducing. But at this point, I wouldn't be surprised. For anything. But that is the current state of affairs. Bill Gates wants senators to, do their thing. And money is talking in this case. Let's see if either money of actual justice speaks louder